In the 1960s, a train journey to the seaside wasn't just transport. It was the first chapter of the holiday itself. Families crowded into busy stations, clutching battered suitcases tied with string. The air was thick with coal smoke, cigarette haze, and excitement. Children pressed against railings, straining for a first glimpse of the engine, while parents juggled luggage, coats, and sandwiches wrapped in grease-proof paper. The moment you saw that plume of steam at the end of the platform, you knew the adventure had begun. Number 1. The ticket office. Before you boarded, there was a ritual. The ticket. Counters of worn wood, polished smooth by decades of elbows. Behind the brass-framed window, a clerk in uniform pulled stiff cardboard tickets from neat wooden drawers. With a heavy click, the date stamper pressed down. That sound became the official start of the journey. Coins clinked as they slid across the counter. Change was counted carefully, handed back with a nod. Sometimes the clerk offered a polite joke about the weather at your destination or reminded children not to lose the ticket before the barrier. That little rectangle of card wasn't just a ticket. It was a promise, a new place, a new memory. People kept them tucked in purses, jacket pockets, even scrapbooks. Tiny souvenirs of journeys they never forgot. Number 2. The platform. The departure hall was alive, footsteps echoing, luggage trolleys rumbling, the tannoy crackling with names like Blackpool, Brighton, or Scarborough. Families huddled together, children tugging at sleeves. "Is it here yet?" On the platform, steam curled around legs and suitcases. Porters in peaked caps shouted to one another, while drivers leaned from the cab, blackened with coal dust but always ready with a wave. It wasn't silent order, it was organized chaos, messy, noisy, and unforgettable. Number 3. First sight of the engine. Then came the great reveal. A steam locomotive waiting, pistons hissing, metal sides gleaming. It looked alive, breathing in clouds of white steam. The smell of coal clung to your clothes long after you got home. Children fought for the best window seat. Parents scolded, "Don't lean out too far." But everyone wanted to feel that wind on their face when the train moved. When the guard's whistle blew, the entire platform seemed to hold its breath. With a shudder and a roar, the train began to move. And suddenly, the holiday had started. Number 4. Inside the carriage. Carriages were simple but full of life. Compartments with sliding doors, luggage racks crammed with buckets and spades, families squeezed in together, coats piled high, wicker baskets balanced on laps. Someone always opened a thermos of tea too early, and the smell of cheese and pickle sandwiches filled the air before you'd even left the station. Not everything was perfect. Babies cried, windows jammed, and ash sometimes blew in through the open panes. But even the small discomforts became part of the story. Number 5. The buffet car. Halfway through the journey, the buffet car was its own little world. White-jacketed attendants poured tea into thick china cups, served meat pies and sausage rolls wrapped in wax paper, and sliced fruitcake that never seemed to run out. Children queued nervously, clutching a coin from mum or dad. Holidaymakers in sun hats rubbed shoulders with workmen heading home. It wasn't glamorous, but it was ritual. A hot cup of tea, shared sandwich, and balancing plates as the train swayed. Simple acts that felt like luxury on the move. Number 6. Rolling past the countryside. As the city fell behind, the countryside opened up. Patchwork fields, church spires, and hedgerows thick with wildflowers. With the window down, the wind whipped your hair, carrying scents of grass, smoke, and sometimes, if you were close enough, the faint tang of the sea. Small stations flickered past, each with neat flower beds, and a station master standing proudly in uniform. The rhythm of the rails lulled you into a trance, clickety-clack, mile after mile, pulling you further from ordinary life. Number 7. Seaside anticipation. The nearer you got, the more the atmosphere changed. Buckets and spades came down from racks, and children stood on tiptoe, noses pressed to the glass. Is that the sea? Friends argued over which arcade to visit. Parents debated fish and chips or a sit-down cafe. Then, the faint cries of gulls, the smell of salt in the air, and suddenly, the blue horizon filled the window. That first glimpse of the sea was worth the whole journey. Number 8. Arrival. The station at the seaside was always dressed for the part. Bright flowers in planters, ironwork painted fresh for the summer season. Porters hurried with luggage trolleys. Families spilled onto platforms, maps and guidebooks clutched in hand. Fish and chip shops sent their warm, salty aroma drifting into the streets. Arcades clattered with the sound of slot machines. Guest houses lined the road to the promenade, each with painted signs promising vacancies. Every arrival felt ceremonial. You'd crossed from the ordinary world into holiday freedom. Number 9. The return journey. The ride home was quieter. Suitcases heavier with damp towels, cheap souvenirs, and sandy shoes. Children dozed against windows, clutching buckets or a prize from the arcade. The chatter faded into rustling newspapers and gentle snores. The countryside rolled by again, but now in reverse. There was a kind of sadness in the carriages, but also satisfaction, proof that the holiday had been real. By the time the train pulled back into your home station, you were sunburnt, tired, and already dreaming of next year. Number 10. The legacy of train travel. Looking back, traveling by train in 1960s, Britain was more than transport. It was community, ritual, and memory rolled along the rails. From the click of the ticket stamper to the smell of coal smoke, from the buffet car's endless pots of tea, to the first breathtaking sight of the sea. Every detail made the journey part of the holiday itself. Not everything was perfect. Windows jammed, trains sometimes ran late, and by the end of the day, clothes were marked with soot. But somehow, those inconveniences became part of the charm. Today's high-speed trains may be faster, but they'll never replace the slow magic of steam, laughter, and anticipation. So tell us, do you remember your first train journey? Where were you going, and what small souvenirs did you bring back? Because sometimes, the journey mattered more than the destination.